satellite, orbiting at a distance of 239,000 miles up, a land area the size of the US, Canada, and Russia combined, and the only extraterrestrial body ever visited by human beings. But just how did our closest neighbor come into being? Welcome to Space School. For as long as humans have been gazing into the heavens, they have been mesmerized by the moon. It's been celebrated in art for at least 5,000 years. Ancient cultures considered it a deity. The Greek philosopher Anaxagoras is thought to be the first to recognize the moon as a sphere. But it wasn't until 1609, when Galileo trained his telescope onto the lunar surface, that this theory was proven. Human fascination with the moon may have its roots in Earth's earliest geological history. The moon itself may once have been part of our planet. Most scientists now believe that more than 4.5 billion years ago, the young planet Earth was struck by an object, possibly as large as Mars. Called the giant impact, or Big Whack theory, this collision scattered debris from Earth into outer space. That Earth dust eventually gathered and solidified. Gravity shaped it into a sphere, and this ball of rock became the moon. The moon is moving away from Earth at a speed of roughly 1.5 inches per year. The moon has changed little over billions of years. It has no light, virtually no atmosphere, and no seasons at all. The moon's gravity, strong enough to cause our oceans to rise and fall, keeps it tidally locked to the Earth. In other words, it takes just about the same amount of time for the moon to rotate on its axis as it does to complete one orbit, 29.5 days. So the moon always presents us the same face. That face is called the near side, while the far side, for almost all of human history, has remained totally hidden. Despite being much smaller than Earth and just 1/4 of its diameter, the moon has a similar structure: crust, mantle, and core. The surface is rocky and gray, dominated by craters and 2 types of terrain: flat plains called maria and highlands called terrae. Maria are flat pools of hardened lava settled over craters, a reminder of a time when volcanoes were still active. Terrae are rugged, cratered highlands, formed when the moon's original crust was regularly shattered and fragmented by meteors, asteroids, and comets. One of the largest features, the mammoth Sea of Tranquility, is larger than all of the Great Lakes combined. The moon's signature craters are the result of a constant bombardment. Without an atmosphere to deflect them, meteors, asteroids, and comets are able to strike the surface, leaving behind craters as large as 1,200 miles across. Scientists believe some of those collisions may have brought water, once frozen, into comets and asteroids. That water may now be hidden deep in these craters and will be key to the success of any future moon base. The moon's gravity is 1/6 of Earth's. A 180-pound Earthling would weigh just 30 pounds on the moon. Humans have long followed the movements of the moon, recording celestial occurrences which reveal how the sun, Earth, and moon relate to each other. Astronomers dating back to the ancient Egyptians and the Maya have observed eclipses, moments when the sun, Earth, and the moon are in alignment. A lunar eclipse is when the Earth comes between the sun and moon. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon comes between the sun and the Earth. The rarest of all is a total solar eclipse, when the moon crosses directly in front of the sun, blocking out its light entirely. The longest solar eclipse can exceed 7 minutes, but that happens less than once a century. The most recent was in 1973. The moon is unique among celestial bodies for another reason as well. It is the only other world we've ever visited, and many do not realize that the first moon landing was achieved by the Soviets, not by the Americans. In 1966, the unmanned Luna 10 made a successful soft landing on the lunar surface. But it was the US launch of Apollo 11 in 1969 that changed history, when Neil Armstrong stepped onto the lunar surface and described those first moments as one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. NASA's moon program came to an abrupt end in 1972. Apollo 17 would mark the last time humans walked the lunar surface. Interest in this small rocky celestial body has not waned. Today, a dozen countries, including the US, China, Japan, and India, are all planning ambitious lunar programs. By 2020, NASA plans another manned mission to the moon and hopes to begin construction on a permanent outpost in space. This is Space School. Signing off. Class dismissed.